Okay. Uh, I I just want to share a few tips for preparing your interview. Okay. Um, First of all, okay, do your readings. Okay. The two chapters from Universal Method of Design. Okay, that book. Okay. One is about interviewing. The other one is about directed storytelling. Okay. And also the reading about empathy map canvas. Okay, they are going to be helpful. Okay. The first point, okay, the first tip, okay, when you plan your interview, okay, when you design your questions, uh, ask open questions, okay, instead of yes, no questions, okay. So that means, for example, okay, these are the two examples, okay. Oh, meaning I would recommend you to say, oh, how do you choose your hiking route? In case, okay, let's say the activity that you choose is hiking, okay. So this is open questions. Okay, how do you do it? Okay, who did it? Okay, who chose the question, the hiking route for you, for example. Okay, and what is yes no question? Yes no question is usually kind of like this. Okay, oh, do you choose a hiking route by searching online? Okay, so what I'm saying is try to avoid these kind of yes no questions. Okay, the reason is a few things. Okay, one is sometimes people are more quiet. Okay, they don't like to speak much. So if you ask a yes no question, they may say oh yes or no. Then they may not elaborate. Okay, they may not even say why or even uh, uh, other information. Okay, they may just say yes or no. Okay, that's one thing. Another reason is that yes, no question, usually in because of the format of this kind of questions, you are kind of giving some hints about the answer that you want them to say, or giving some additional information. For example, this one, oh, do you choose a hiking route by searching online? So you're giving them hints, okay? Even them, they may thinking, okay, oh, usually I just from my memory, okay, if I have a hiking route, then I just go with my family, for example. But because you ask the question in this way, then they may say, yeah, sometimes I may search online. So then you cannot get the real answer, the real to understand the real behavior, okay, which is maybe okay, they just pick a route from the memory, from their past experience, for example. Okay. But instead, if you ask them, okay, how do you choose your hiking route? It's an open question. You didn't give any hint about how they do it. Okay. So maybe, oh, then they say, oh, from my memory, or actually I don't choose. Okay, whatever my friends go, wherever they go, I'll just follow, for example. Okay. So try to avoid this. I try to avoid yes no question. Sorry, yes, try to avoid yes no questions. There may be some exceptions. So sometimes, okay, it just feel natural to say to start the conversation by saying yes or no. Okay, say, oh, do you go hiking, for example, or sometimes just to follow up or just to clarify. Okay, let's say after you ask an open question, they say they answer something. Okay, I look up. I'm an old school person. I still hold go through my trend my bookshelf. Okay, traditional books. Okay, physical books, for example. Then you may have follow-up questions. Oh, you mean bookshelves? You mean bookshelves at your home, right? Okay, then say, oh yes, yes, bookshelf at my home, or they may clarify, okay, I have actually have bookshelves uh, at my office. Okay, it's full of hiking books, for example. So these are like sidetrack or like secondary questions. Then maybe you have some yes no questions. Okay, but in general, okay, the general principle is try to avoid asking yes no questions. Okay, focus on open questions. Okay, let your interviewees to say to elaborate. Okay, ask them why. Okay, or you can also ask them why. Okay, why they do it. Okay, to understand their motivation, their reasons. Okay. Tip number two. Okay. Make sure your questions cover different stages. Okay, not just the activity itself. Okay, meaning okay before the activity. Okay, planning. How do you get the idea of going for hiking? Okay, or how did the hiking start? Okay, or I mean how did the hiking this idea the whole thing started? Okay, and activity itself. Okay, and also even after the activity. Okay, sometimes I think you all of you are oh you went for a party or hiking or this kind of activity. Afterwards, you share online or reflect on it, or like you share with someone who missed the party. There are things that happens afterwards, okay? Or maybe if the activity is go for a beach, okay, go to the beach, I need to swim in the beach, okay, spend an afternoon in the beach, okay, with my friends, okay. Then afterwards is okay, I need to travel back home, okay, and clean my stuff. I have to wash my stuff because it's going for a beach. There's a lot of sand covered in my stuff, for example. So there are things that happens after the activity itself. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, your questions, your interview should cover all this. Okay, from the beginning, planning. Okay, contacting your friends, see if they are available, and then checking the weather. Okay, and the travel, and then the activity. Okay, traveling to the place. Okay, having the activity, and then respond to different conditions. Okay, if it is raining, if it is someone get hurt. Okay, how do we respond? Okay, even afterwards, how you leave, how you end up. Do you clean up the place? Okay, do you need to clean up the place? And then afterwards and sharing online, okay, or clean up your stuff, okay, etc., etc. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, we cover the whole journey, because in the later stage of your project, you need to come up with user journey map, okay, which cover different stages of the activity. Tip number 3, okay, questions covering different aspects. Okay, so when you ask questions or when you do interview, don't only focus on how they do it. How means not just their behavior, they go there, go here, or they look for this item, look for that. Okay, not just actions, but also feelings. Okay, how do they feel? Okay, and feelings are not just only happy. Okay, or not just positive or negative. Not just happy. Okay, sad, a struggle, sometimes anxious, right? Not sure what to do. Okay, or sometimes excited. Okay, just planning it. Okay, it's exciting. Okay. Uh, they're thinking, what they're thinking, okay, what they're looking for, why they sometimes, okay, they may say they the beginning they will search online, but what exactly are they looking for? Okay, on so what they're thinking, what they're considering. Communication, any communication, okay, how would you you said that, oh, you said that you would go check with your friends and see if they're available. Okay, so how do you so-called check they're available? How do you check? How do you communicate? Okay, any information needed? Okay, you said that you check the weather. Okay, so exactly what are you looking for? What are you checking? Okay, although you may assume that, oh, they look for, of course is they're checking if the weather is good, right? But sometimes it may surprise you. Okay, you need to ask them. Maybe, for example, for hiking, some people like a sunny day to look for a sunny day to hike. Some people may look for a cloudy day. Okay, for example. So some people may not even looking for checking whether it's sunny or cloudy. It's about the humidity. If it is too humid, I would not go for hiking, for example. So they ask open questions and also cover all these different aspects. Okay, the empathy map. Okay, the empathy map is a tool to help you, because the empathy map, if you go for the reading, you will see. Okay, it covers different parts. Okay, to kind of to remind you. Okay, don't forget that you need to ask and know about these areas when you do your interview. Okay, plan the flow of an interview session. Okay. Uh, for example, you may, how do you begin the interview? Okay, maybe you thank them. Okay, thank you for helping us. Okay, this is, and then you explain your purpose. Okay, this is the motivation why we do this. Okay, and maybe you say, okay, all your information will be protected. Okay, we will not disclose your personal information, or we also would not show your face. Okay, even if we take pictures, for example. And then down to the questions and answers and all this interview, how do you do it? Okay, do you I listed at least two general approaches. Okay, one is, oh, direct them, ask them to share their one-time experience of, oh, what was the last time you went for hiking? Okay, could you share that experience? Okay, from the very beginning, like planning, okay, from the beginning to the end. Okay, do you do that first? Share their one-time experience. Okay, this technique is covered in directed storytelling, okay, chapter 31. And then when they are sharing their experience, their story, you pay attention, and then you follow up with questions. Okay, see if anything missing when they were talking about their experience. And indeed, with this approach, from my experience, and also my previous experience with the students, the beginning part, the directed storytelling, may already cover some of the answers that you need in the questions that you prepare. Okay, sometimes let's say they in that experience they said that how they choose a route, choose a hiking route, for example. Okay. Then in the follow-up questions, you check, okay, see which part is still missing or which part that you want to double confirm, see if that action or that feelings in that one experience is just one time only or is a regular thing. Okay, normally they feel anxious or they feel excited when they're planning for hiking, for example. Okay, so one way to structure is, okay, get them to share their experience first, one-time experience, one specific one-time experience first, and then follow with questions. Or you ask the questions that you prepare first, okay? And then afterwards, then you ask them to share one experience, okay? What was the last time, what was the experience like, okay? The last time you went for hiking, for example, okay? So different approaches. Okay, you find which way is more comfortable, comfortable. Okay, or even because you need to interview a few people. Each team needs to interview a few people. You can even switch different plans. Okay, different structure for this level on this level, just to try and then see it and then reflect, see which way seems to be better. Okay. Okay, more tips. Okay, interview one person at a time. Okay, that's something that I would recommend. Okay, you interview one person at a time. Although the topic is social activity. Okay, activity involving more than one person. But I still it would be easier for you to manage the whole session, manage the time, and manage the focus of your interviewing, and also the focus of the team. Okay, interviewing multiple people at the same time is possible. Okay, but then you need to carefully manage them. Okay, sometimes people one of the, let's say you interview two persons or 2 to 3 people at the same time, they all involved in the activity that you chose. Sometimes one person may be more dominant. Okay, they just keep saying and then even answer questions for other people. Okay, and then you need to, if you encounter this case, then you need to manage them. Okay, and to yeah, so I think to make things simpler, easier for you to control, I would recommend interview one person at a time, although it takes more time, okay, for you to get enough interviewees. Okay, respect your interviewees. Okay, ask politely. Okay, whatever you are trying to do. Okay, let's say you would like to take recordings or even take notes or take pictures. Okay, ask them politely. Oh, could I do it? Or do you mind? Okay. If they do mind, then okay, respect that. Okay, so then okay, we don't take pictures. Okay, or even if you ask questions that on something that they don't want to talk about, okay, they feel too embarrassing to talk about, for example, then okay, then you avoid that. Okay, respect that. Okay. Conduct interview. Oh, another thing is about respecting your interviewees. Okay. All these pictures and recordings. Okay, and even notes. Okay, try to keep it just among the teammates. Okay, the teams. Okay, no, don't try to. I know you're not trying to make fun of your interviewees. It's quite unlikely because you're trying to do your project. Okay, but still, when you may keep these notes or some pictures or records, maybe on, I don't know, maybe on some online cloud drive or something like that. Okay, have some decent protection. Okay, so don't share this as a public link and then share it anywhere. Okay, so that at least respect their privacy. Okay, to the extent that you can manage. Okay, as just treat these pictures and recordings as if these pictures are pictures of yourself. Okay, like you don't want to keep sharing it to anyone. Okay. Conduct interview in pairs or in a team, as a team. Okay, I know some students may like to may have a tendency to, oh, oh, we have a task as a team, so we split it, okay, into a team of three. I have a team of 3 students, okay. Oh, with a task, I split it in 3 parts. Then okay, then we go. Then it becomes individual tasks. Sometimes, yeah, it may be helpful, okay. But for this time for interview, I encourage you to interview as at least as pairs, or even as a team, okay. So that in the interview session, different students has different roles, okay. Student A may ask questions, okay, focus on asking questions, okay. Student B may take notes, okay, or pictures or recordings, okay, if your interviewees do not mind. And then one student listens to the questions and prepare follow-up questions, okay, because the person who's asked questions may not have the attention to take care of the follow-up questions. They may just keep asking and follow your plan, okay. Have one extra pair of hands, okay, just to prepare for listen carefully to the answers, okay, and then prepare for follow-up questions. It may be helpful, okay. I encourage you to do it in pairs at least, okay, or even better to do it in teams, okay. You can even switch different roles for different sessions, different interview sessions. Like, oh, for this person, this interview, okay, I'm asking questions. Sorry. For the next interview, I may, okay, maybe why not you, okay, like my partner to do the to ask questions, okay. Then I will be responsible for taking notes, for example, okay. And okay, next point, you can conduct interviews online on Zoom, or if you need to. I know the schedule for having to do it conducting interviews is quite tight. Okay, roughly you have one week, okay, to conduct interviews, to recruit interviewees, okay, to find interviewees and conduct the interviews. Okay, if it is not convenient for you to travel and then to find these people, or sometimes you just don't want to gather too much, okay, with too many people, then you can conduct the interviews online. Okay, don't forget that even if you conduct interviews online, let's say on Zoom, you can still conduct in a team. Okay, your teammates can still join the session. Okay. For the duration, okay, I would recommend try to keep an interview session. Let's say you interview one person, okay, 30 to 60 minutes. 60 minutes, I think, is the max. It's very tiring to keep answering questions and keep talking for too tiring for your interviewee. Okay, after an hour, they may not have the attention to answer your questions with quality. Okay. So, but yeah, around at least 30 minutes. Okay. I mean, I think this is, of course, it's a rough number. Okay. Some people speak faster, some people speak lower, slower. But yeah, still roughly this time. Okay, I think it's a good range. Okay, less than 30 minutes, and let's say if that interview is just say anything like for 15 minutes and things like that, then maybe it's there are more they can share, maybe. Okay, unless they're really busy people. Okay. Yeah, so that's about it. Interview is something that a very common technique. Maybe in the previous studies you already tried that, okay, but these are just some tips or even like reminders, okay, for you to pay attention to. Okay, your tutors may also remind you and walk you through on your interview plan and interview questions as well. Again, this is one of those tools that I think kind of like research tools that is easy to learn but difficult to master. Okay, difficult to be good at. Okay, so practice. Okay, try it more. Okay, on the brief we said at least you need to do at least 5 interviews. Okay, meaning 5 interviewees. Okay, but try to do more. I think you can do to up to like 8 to 9. Okay, in persons. Okay, I think that would be a pretty good number. Okay. Definitely you don't need to overdo it. Okay, not too much. Okay, otherwise you don't have you may spend too much time on doing interview, but not on like analyzing the data. Okay, we also have a video on how to analyze the data as well. Okay, that's about it. Okay, thank you.